Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes Radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWine Radio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there. Okay, Alan, I'm recording. I'm going to cut my mic, and you go ahead and start with whatever however you want to introduce yourself.
Okay.
Go ahead. Alan? Oh, okay.
Please enter your account code.
Don't know what happened there.
I do. The owner of the radio station is in the studio next to me, and he accidentally dropped the line.
Oh, did you get the intro though?
No, I didn't get any of it.
I thought it was good.
So I'm so sorry. So I'm going to bring down my mic and you start, because as soon as you said hello, that's when he dropped the line.
Oh.
So go ahead. I'm going to bring down my mic and you start again.
Okay. Hi, wine fans. This is Alan Goldfarb. Glad to be here with Lynn on iWine Radio. You can check out my column on TableHopper.com. It's called Checking Lists, a critical look at restaurant wine.
Alan Goldfarb is with us again, and this time his columns on TableHopper.com for his blog Checking Lists involve, I love the title of this, In Sommeliers Do We Trust?
Yes. Even though I say I lead that column with a sommelier at a new restaurant in Marin County, north of San Francisco, who said that she had an experience with guests who said, "We trust you implicitly. Not all sommeliers are created equal, and they're not all to be trusted, but most of them are."
You know, it's a sommelier is in many cases kind of like a tour guide, kind of almost like it can be a teacher as well, and there has to be some kind of trust involved. If there's not some kind of trust, then person shouldn't be doing their job, first of all, because they need to be instilling that kind of trust, but it's not going to be that memorable or wonderful an experience. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and you know, it's a confounding phenomenon, if you will, all of the years that I've been involved with wine, wine seems to be the only comestible that people are so confused and intimidated about. You know, they're not intimidated about cocktails, but for some reason they are intimidated by wine. And so you're absolutely right. A good sommelier or a wine director at a restaurant does serve or should serve as a teacher, as a guide. Do you give yourself over to them completely? Well, you know, that's an instinctual call, I guess.
Yeah.
If you don't know much about wine, I guess you have no other way to go, and maybe it's the best place to give yourself over to them. If you do know something about wine, maybe you can feel them out.
You know, I think one strategy for people is to ask the sommelier what they like, because so many sommeliers don't ask what you like. I mean, a sommelier may say, oh, this wine would be perfect for you. But if that's not your benchmark, like if your benchmark Chardonnay is a $15 Chardonnay that has quite a bit of residual sugar in it and you don't know it, and the sommelier is giving you something that they're assuming that you're going to like, which is much drier. I mean, there's got to be some kind of a on the equal plane of communication. Otherwise, the recipient, the consumer, is not going to understand and go along with the game plan. Do you understand what I'm saying, kind of, Alan?
I do, but I'm of two minds about what you just said. One, I think if you don't know much about wine, I think that's the way to go. But you know what drives me crazy in a restaurant when somebody says, when you're ordering a dish, what do you like? And to me, that's abdicating total control. And, you know, being a control freak, I don't like to do that. So the way I would approach it, since I know a little bit about wine, would say, you know, I don't like a wine that is big, has a lot of fruit. I don't like a wine that's high in alcohol. I don't like a wine that has a lot of oak, and I want to spend X amount of dollars.
Yes.
Please tell me which way to go. And, by the way, I'm ordering this dish.
Totally agree with you. Yep. So I don't know, and that's been part of the problem in the United States, is that there is this uppityness about wine. Like, you know, I'm better than you. It's not even subtle. It's so overt in some places, because I know more than you. Knowing about wine and knowing how to handle or work with a sommelier in a restaurant is very good strategy for people that are working business. They're going out to business lunches and dinners. Yes.
Again, going back to what I said before, I don't understand why wine is so confounding and intimidating to people. And I suppose on both ends, on the wine so-called expert side, some of us probably promulgate that feeling and instill those feelings in people. But then again, you know, people they're not that intimidated about food. Why are they intimidated about wine?
Right. Yeah, or as you said, cocktails.
Yeah. Is it because everyone eats, of course, and cocktails, I don't know, is spirits, is liquor. I guess people are more used to, over the years, over the millennium, had more experience with that than they do with wine.
I remember first time I went to it was a conference by Sheffield and Somerset, to tell you how long ago that was.
Oh.
And Dale DeGroff was presenting drinks using I think it was Tanqueray gin, and I did not like gin at all. I got royally smashed on gin one night in college and couldn't touch it for 20 years. He made these gorgeous cocktails in beautiful presentation. Who could not help but like that? But ever since that moment, and it really was an epiphany for me, I realized that cocktails can be so gorgeous. They can be as gorgeous because of presentation and creativity and ingredients as wine, but in a different way.
You mean gorgeous in presentation or gorgeous in taste?
Both.
But
very much so in presentation.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the camp that I couldn't give a fig about presentation when it comes to drinks, and I know nothing about spirits and liquor. I like a vodka every so often, but I really know nothing, and so But I'm not intimidated by it. I just eschew it. I hardly drink spirits, so
yeah, you don't even go that
because I really don't like it as well as I do wine.
Okay, so let's move on to the second column, which is being released as almost after we talk, and that is at Ciccia. It's like being at Nona's home. So talk to us about La Ciccia restaurant in San Francisco.
Well, it's La Ciccia.
La Ciccia.
Yeah,
I got it wrong even with my phonetics. Ciccia.
La Ciccia.
Okay.
Yes, and this is a little neighborhood restaurant in San Francisco that sits between two neighborhoods that is familiar, Glen Park and Noe Valley. Noe Valley, many of your listeners will have heard about. It sits in the middle of nowhere, and it's Italian, so I often think of myself, as I've traveled in the mountain hilltop towns around Italy, that this is a restaurant that's on a mountainside. In this case, it's Sardinia, because it's a Sardinian restaurant, which is very unusual in the States, and I think the only one perhaps in the Bay Area. So I look at it as a roadside village restaurant, and that's precisely what it is. They're so they greet you, Lorella, one of the husband and wife team greets you with a hug and European kisses on the cheeks, and maybe if you're lucky, she'll bring over a complimentary glass of prosecco, or after maybe she'll give you a glass of Marsala,
okay,
as she did the last time we were there. And I just love this restaurant. I've never been to Sardinia, but I've been to Sardinia at La Ciccia.
Yeah. And you say the wine list is very, very... I love your comment about... Let me see. You can tell there's a serious wine person at work at the restaurant, because the corkage fee is a hefty $35, which tells me that Conti, the owner, wants you to pay attention only to his list. And you're really giving people a heads up on this. It makes total sense.
Well, maybe the first reaction to a $35 corkage fee would be outrage, and it is high. The average corkage here in California, I'm guessing, is around $15 to $20. So $35 tells you that you're in a serious place if they can back it up with the wines. So it's not a ripoff. And Massimo Conti, one of the owners, with his wife Lorella, is also the chef. And yes, I've got this wine list right in front of me here, and what does it have? About 170 wines on it, and it is ground central for the wine of Sardinia, and the red wine of Sardinia is Cannonau, which is really made from Grenache that most of us are familiar with. So I think there are about 18 Cannonau's on this list, and prices are reasonable. They start at around in the low 30s, and of course they go up into the hundreds. So and Lorella is on the floor, and she'll help you with the wine. She's really very well versed with the wine in the wines, and so that helps a lot and eases your tension around any of these wines that most people don't know about.
Yeah. Well, Alan Goldfarb, we'd like to thank you so very much again for joining us this week on Wine and Dine, and I would love to hear listeners that are going to the restaurants that you're writing about and get some feedback, and they can get up with you online at TableHopper.com, right?
Yes, I would love for them to go onto the column, and there's a place where they can email me. Please tell me what your feelings are. If you have any comments about your experience with the restaurant wines, please let me know.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Lynn.
Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWineRadio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.